Canto X of the Lusíads. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Recording by Leni. The Lusíads, by Luís Vaz de Camões. Translated by Sir Richard Francis Burton. Canto X. Argument of the 10th Canto. Thetis inviteth the navigators, the Siren's prophetic song, wherein she toucheth upon the principal achievements and conquests of the Portuguese viceroys, the governors, and the captains in India, until the days of Dom João de Castro. Thetis with da Gama ascendeth a mount, whence she showeth him the spheres, terrestrial and celestial. Description of the globe, especially of Asia and Africa. The navigators quit the island, and, pursuing their voyage, happily reach Lisbon. Another argument. As mesas de vivíficos manjares, com as ninfas, os lusos valerosos, ouvem de seus vindouros singulares façanhas em assentos numerosos. Mostra-lhes Tétis tudo quantos mares e quantos céus rodeiam luminosos, a pequeno volume reduzido, e torna a frota ao Tejo tão querido. At tables spread with life-restoring food, accompanied by their nymphs, the Lusians bold hear of their future singular and good, and daring deeds in numbered verses told. Thetis displays them all that ocean flood girdeth, encircleth heaven's luminous fold, dwarfed to a scanty volume, when the fleet homewards her well-loved Tagus flies to greet. Canto X. Now had the glowing amorist, who won fair faithless Laricia's love, inclined his steeds where lies, girt by the great lagoon, Themistitum, the western world behind. Favonius' breath the branding of the sun cooleth, and o'er the natural tanks his wind crisps the sea-mirror, and awakes the lily, slumbering with jasmine through the noontide stilly. When the fair nymphs, who each her lover led, hand-linked in hand, conforming and content, trooped where the radiant pleasance reared its head, all gay with gold and metals lucidant, when bade the queen that tables there be spread with varied viands chosen, excellent, for loved and loving vigour to restore, the powers which love from weary nature bore. There on the radiant thrones, rich crystalline, sit the blithe couples, cavalier and dame, while on the golden dais in state recline the lovely goddess Gama loved by fame. Delicious dainties, delicate, divine, that antique Egypt's luxuries sink to shame, heap the huge chargers of the tawny gold from far Atlantis' treasury hither rolled. The wines of fragrant scent not sole excel Falerna's vintage, proud Italia's boast, but e'en th' ambrosia Jove esteems so well, and eke esteems his sempiternal host. In cups where steely file may not prevail, they spume crisp foam that glads men's innermost bosom, and warms his heart with sudden glow, and with ice-water tempered leap and flow. Told were 1,000 tales of joy and mirth, sweet smiles met subtle sayings warm with wit, which to discourses and that gave double worth, and sharpened edge to blunted appetite. Nor of the harp harmonious was there dearth, which in profoundest pit the naked sprite awhile can respite from eternal pain, sweetened by siren voice of angel strain. Thus sang that nymph, the fairest of her kind, her descant echoing down the hall sublime, with consonance of instrument combined, and all conforming to one tone and time. A sudden silence husheth every wind, and makes the wavelet plash with softer chime, while salvage animals in natural air to slumber charmed a dreamy music hear. Her voice of silver raiseth to the skies the coming race of barons high-renowned, whose prototypes were shown to Proteus' eyes within the hollow spheres diaphanous round. Jove's goodly present and the choicest prize given him in vision, to the realm profound the tale prophetic told he, and the maid in memory depths the glorious history laid. Subject of buskin 'tis, and not for sock what in that vasty lake the nymph made known, things from Iopus hid in Demodok, Phaeacian this and that of Carthage town. Thee, my Calliope, I now invoke, In this mine extreme labour, thou alone canst for my writing to my sprite restore the gust of writing, which I joy no more. My years glide downwards, and my summer's pride mergeth in autumn, passing, how soon! Fortune my genius chills, and loves to chide my poet soul no more my boast and boon. Hopes long deferred bear me to the tide of black oblivion, and eternal soon. But deign to grant me thou, the Muses' queen, to praise my people with my proper strain. Sang the fair goddess how the wide seas o'er, from Tagus' bank when Gama cut his path, shall sail strong navies, conquering every shore, where Indic ocean sucks his mighty breath. How all the kings who gentle gods adore, and there our yoke reject, shall rue the wrath of hard and hardy arms, with steel and low, till low to Gama or to death they bow. Of one she chaunted, that in Malabar held of the priesthood highest dignity, who, lest be loosened with the singular, bears the knot of love and amity, shall see his towns, his cities in the war, with fire and sword and wrath and cruelty undone, which potent Samarin shall wage against the stranger, such shall be his rage. And eke she singeth how shall join the fleet in Belem moored to bait this deadly bane, when of his burden naught could ocean weet, our great Pacheco Achilles Lusitane. Lo, as he entereth all his weight shall greet the curved timber and the fervid main, as in the waters every keel that groaneth sits deeper swimming than its nature owneth, but hardly landed on those orient ends, and, leaving with the royal unbeliever of Cochim realm some native troops where bends its salty branches Cochim's snaky river, the Nair's infernal bands he breaks and rends in the pass Cambalum, whereat shall shiver with freezing fear the Orient's fiery glow, seeing so few, so many men o'erthrow. The Samarim shall summon fresh allies, kings hurrying come from Bipar and Tanor, and where Narsinga's serried crests arise, vowing high valor to their grand seignior. Lo, at his bidding every near man hies that dwells twixt Calicut and Cannanore, two hostile peoples linked at war's demand. By sea the Moormen came, Gentoos by land. Again shall scatter all their strong array Pacheco, grandly bold on shore and main. The mighty Mani he shall crush and slay, and be the marvel of the Malabar plain. Again shall dare the pagan sun delay to offer battle for his bitter bane, taunting his host and offering vainest vows, his deaf and dumb and heedless gods to rouse. No more the passes only now defending, he shall with fire consume thorp, fane, and town. The hound walks to wood to see with toil unending his fenced cities on the plain bestrown, shall drive his soldiers, lives so freely spending, against Pacheco, who with wings hath flown for double movement, but at single bout hither and thither all he puts to rout. Shall come in person Samarin fight to dare, to cheer his forces and fresh force enjoin, but soon a bullet singing through the air shall stain him red in lofty palanquin. Naught now availeth him, ne wildness ne'er, ne force Pacheco deemeth like to win. He shall vain venoms deal treasons base, which aye gain less of gain by God's good grace. He shall a seventh time, she sang, aspire the brave beleaguered Lusian to assail, whom toil and travail lack the strength to tire, but save confusion nothing shall avail. Then shall he bring to battle dread and dire machines of timber, unknown, terrible, to sink the carvels by the board assailed, when force and fraud both tried alike have failed. On water plain, up heaping fiery hill, he now shall tempt the Lusian fleet to flame, but soldier science and the warman's will the strength shall weaken wherewithal he came. Ne'er hath a baron fame for martial skill that starward soared on the wings of fame, rivalled this, who palms from all hath won, illustrious Greece or Rome my words condone. For such fierce battles in such manner gained, by a poor hundred or a few more, such fight, such feints, such strength, such stratagem sustained, so many hounds, not heartless hurled to flight, such feats, I say, must seem as fables feigned, or that the hosts of heaven invoked a light earth-ward to aid him, shall to him impart, daring and doing, heart and warrior art. Nor he who in the campaign Marathonian Darius' mighty powers piecemeal rendeth, nor with 4,000 men Lacedaemonian he who the pass Thermopylae defendeth, nor youthful Cocles of the strain Ausonian, who with the whole Etrurian host contendeth the bridge to hold, nor Quintus Fabius ere like this in war showed strength and savour fair. But here the nymph's triumphant measure dies, shifting to sadden murmur, low and slow. She sings mid tears and ill-suppressed sighs the mighty jests that did no gratitude know. O Belisarius, thou who aye shalt rise in ninefold choir and ever nobler grow, if Mars' dishonour didst behold in thee one to console thee, here thy shade shall see. Thou hast a rival, not alone indeed, but in his dolence and his guerdon dower. And thee and him, two breasts of noblest breed, we see degraded to low state obscure, to die in spittle on the bed of mead, who king and law like wall of iron secure. Thus do capricious kings, whose will demandeth more than what justice or what truth commendeth. Thus do the kings, who drunk with flattery feel the charm of show that gains their hearts' content, the doles of Ajax' arm, the due they deal to tongue of vain Ulysses fraudulent. But O revenge, these goods of little weal, wasted on those who ghosts of good present. If brave and gentle knights miss all their grants, such grants but glut their greedy sycophants. Yet thou, who paidest in such sorry ways, such liege, O king, unjust in this alone, if ne'er 'twas thine to give him grade and praise, 'twas his to give his king a golden throne. Long as Apollo bathes with blessed rays this ball of earth, I swear, shall aye be known, amid the great and good, his name and fame, and thine for avarice aye shall bear the blame. See now, she sang, another comes in pride of the blood royal, and he brings from home the son, whose name shall sound o'er ocean tide, high as the Romans in best days of Rome. The two, with warrior arms to hearts affied, shall deal to fertile Chiloa dreadful doom, and crown a gentler king of loyal strain, who ends the tyrant's fell perfidious reign. Mombasa city, with her brave array of sumptuous palace, proudest edifice, defaced, deformed by fire and steel, shall pay, in kind, the tale of bygone malefice. Thence on those Indian shores which proud display their hostile fleets and warlike artifice, against the Lusians, with his sail and oar, shall young Lourenço work the extremes of war. What mighty vessels Samarin's orders own, covering ocean, with his iron hail, poured from hot copper tube in thunder tone, all shall he shatter, rudder, mast and sail. Then with his grapples boldly, deftly thrown, the hostile emerald he shall assail, board on her, and only with the lance and sword shall slay 4 hecatombs of Moors abhorred. But God's provisions 'scaping human sight, alone who knows what good best serves his kind, shall place the hero where ne toil ne might his lost young life availeth to forfend. In Chow Bay, where fierce and furious fight with fire and steel shall fervid seas offend, th' infidel so shall deal that end his days where Egypt's navy doth conjoin Cambase. There shall the power of manifold enemies, for only strong force can tire, and winds defaulting and fierce injuries of ocean 'gainst a single life conspire. Here let all olden men from death arise, to see his valor, catch his noble fire. A second Seva, see who, hacked and torn, laughs at surrender, quarter holds in scorn. With the fierce torture of a mangled thigh, torn off by bullet which at random passed, his stalwart arms he ceaseth not to ply, that fiery spirit flaming to the last, until another ball clean cuts the tie so frail that linked soul and body fast, the soul which loosed from her prison fleets, whither the prize eterne such conqueror greets. Go, soul, to peace from warfare turbulent, wherein thou meritedst sweet peace serene, for those torn tortured limbs that life so rent, who gave thee life prepareth vengeance keen. I hear enow the furious storm ferment, threatening the terrible eternal teen of chamber, basilisco, saker fire, to Mameluke cruel and Cambaean dire. See, with stupendous heart the war to wage, driven by rage and grief, the father flies, paternal fondness urging battle gage, fire in his heart and water in his eyes. Promise the sire's distress, the soldier's rage, a bloody deluge o'er the knees shall rise on every hostile deck. This Nile shall fear, Indus shall sight it, and the Genji shall hear. As when some lusty bull would train and teach his limbs for cruel fight, with horns he playeth on trunk of builder oak or mast-like beech, and wounding empty air his might essayeth, thus ere his keel's Cambaea's gulf can reach, Francisco, fierce with vengeful ardor preyeth on the bull, opulent harbor, whets his brand, and baits the tumid bragging of the land, and soon shall scatter, sailing up the bight of dew, and fain for siege and battle dread, Calicut strong armada, weak of fight, that trusts to paddle steely mail instead. She of Melicias, who boasts her might of balls by thee, O Vulcan, scattered, shall see her carvels to the frore deep sent, where hidden sleeps the humid element. While she of Merhosem, which linked fast with grapples waits the venger side by side, shall sight the lopped-off arms and legs float past sun-owner bodies o'er the shifting tide, like flamy bolts on earth by thunder cast. In blinding mist of blood the brave shall ride, there naught shall strike the shrinking ear and eye, save fire and steel-flash, shout and slogan cry. But, ah, that homeward from such wars victorious, bound for the Tagus of his fatherland, he nigh should forfeit meed so great and glorious, by sad black chance, I see, in fortune's hand. The cape of storms, that guards his name memorious, shall guard his bones, nor blush shall stain its strand. That noble spirit from the world to tear, Egyptian strength ne'er tore, nor Indian snare. There salvage Kaffirs shall have power to do what ne'er could do the power of dexterous foe, and the rude fire-charred club and staff subdue, whom ne'er subdued ball nor artful bow. Forsooth his judgments hide from human view. Vain fools who vainly judge what none may know, call a misfortune, term a fate malign, what is but providence pure, all-wise, divine. But ho, what lustrous light illumes mine eyes, resumed the nymph, as rose again her tone. There, where Melinda's blood-dyed ocean lies, from Lamo, Oja, Brava town o'erthrown, by hand of Cunha, such a deed ne'er dies, or farthest seas his name shall aye be known, that lave those Austral islands and the shore St. Lawrence hide and ring the wide world o'er. This light is glance and glare of lucent arm, wherewith your Albuquerque's hand shall tame the Hormus Parsee's heart, which be his harm, refusing gentle rule as yoke of shame. There shall he see of shafts the strident swarm, in air revolving with recurved aim, upon his archer, for our God shall aid, who holy faith of Mother Church would spread. There the salt mountains never shall defend corruption from remains of men that met war's doom, and o'er the seas and shores extend of Jerem Isle, Masket, and Calais, till by pure force of arms they learn to bend the subject neck and pay the scot of fate, compulsion sore this wicked reign shall vex, and tithe of pearl that Berm's oyster decks. What wreaths of glorious palms I see them weave, wherewith by victory's hand his head is crowned, when he some shade of fear or shame shall wreathe illustrious Goa's island, world-renowned. See, forced by need's hard law his prize to leave, he seeks new favouring chance, and soon as found, the taken he retakes, such arm and art shall conquer fortune and the self of Mart. Lo, he returns and bursts what dares oppose, through bullet, lance-plumb, steel, fire, strongest hold, breaks with his brand the squatted host of foes, the serried Moor, the gentoo many-fold. His inklet soldiery more of fury shows than rampant bulls or lions hunger bold, that they for ever celebrate and dine of Egypt's martyr maid, Saint Catherine. Nor shalt thou scape the fate to fall his prize, albeit so wealthy and so strong thy sight, there on Aurora's bosom, whence thy rise, thou home of opulence, Malacca height. The poisoned arrows which thine art supplies, the Chryses thirsting, as I see, for fight, the enamoured Malay men, the Javan braves, all of the Lusian shall become the slaves. She had more stanzas sung in siren strain, lauding her Albuquerque's high renown, when she recalled the passionate deed, the stain on his white fame that o'er the world hath shone. The mighty captain whom the fates ordain to view his toils win glory's lasting crown, should ever prove him kind and loved compeer of his own men, not cruel judge severe. In days of hunger and of dire distress, sickness, bolts, arrows, thunder, lightning glint, when the sore seasons and sad sights oppress his soldiers, rendering service unstint, it seemeth salvage act of wild excess, of heart inhuman, bosom insolent, to make last penalty of laws atone for sins our frailty and our love condone. Abominable incest shall not be his sin, nor ruffian rape of virgin pure, not e'en dishonour of adultery, but lapse with wanton slave-girl, vile, obscure. If urged by jealous sting or modesty, or used to cruelty and harshness dour, man from his men mad anger curbeth not, his fame's white shield shall bear black ugly blot. Learn Alexander that Apelles loved, and his Campaspe gave with glad consent, though was the painter not his soldier proved, nor in hard urgent siege his force was spent. Felt Cyrus eke Panthea deeply moved, Araspus by the fire of passion brent, though he had ta'en her charge and pledged his oath, this honest love should never break his troth. But seeing the noble Persian slaved and swayed by power of passion, son in fine defence, he gave slight pardon, and thus gained his aid, in gravest case, the fittest recompense. Himself perforce the maid of Judith made Baldwin hight, bras de fer, but his offence her father, Charles, for troublous times condoned, and gave him life the Flanders reign to found. Again the lyre its soul of music sheds, and sings the nymph how shall Soares fly, ere winnowing flags whose terror far o'erspreads the ruddy coasted lands of Araby. The abominable town, Medina, dreads as Mecca dreads Engida, and where lie Abbasia's ultim shores, while Barbara fears the fate that floodeth Zela mart with tears. And eke the noble island Taprobane, whose ancient name ne'er failed to give her note, as still she reigned superb and sovereign, by boon of fragrant tree-bark biting hot, toll of her treasure to the Lusitan, and sign shall pay, when proud and high shall float your breezy banners from the lofty tower, and all Colombo fear your castle power. Cicada too, far sailing for the shore of Erythris, new ways shall open wide to thee, great empire, who canst vaunt of yore to be Candaces and the Shibans' Nide. Massoua, that hoards in tanks her watery store, he shall behold by Port Archico's side, and send explorers to each distant isle, till novel wonder all the world beguile. Succeeds Menezes, less infamed his sword shall be in Asia than in Afric land. He shall chastise high Hormus' erring horde, and twofold tribute claim with conquering hand. Thou also, Gama, shalt have rich reward for ban of exile when to high command, entitled county, thou shalt be restored to the fair region this thy feet explored. But soon that fatal debt all flesh must pay, where from our nature no exception knows, while decked with proudest royalty's array, from life shall reave thee in life's toils and woes. Other Menezes cometh some delay, who few of years but much of prudence shows in rule. Right happy this Henrique's lot, by human story ne'er to be forgot. Conquer he shall, not only Malabar, destroy Panane and Culete waste, hurling the bombers which through hurtled air deal horrid havoc on the opposing breast, but darred with virtues truly singular, he deals to sevenfold spirit foes his hest. Covetise with incontinence he shall spurn, the highest conquest in the years that burn. Him, when his presence shall the stars invite, O Mascarenhas brave, thou shalt succeed, and if injurious men shall rob thy right, eternal fame I promise for thy meed. That every hostile tongue confess thy might and lofty valor, fate for thee decreed, for more of palm wreath shall thy glory crown than the good fortune due to thy renown. Where Bentam's reign her baleful head uprears, Malacca humbling with her harmful hate, in one short day the 1,000 tyrannous years with bravest bosoms shalt avenge and bait. In human travails, perils without peers, 1,000 iron reefs and dangers straight, stockade and bulwark, lances, arrowy sleet, all shalt thou break, I swear, all shalt submit. But in's ambition and her lucre lust, for ever flaunting bold and brazen face in front of God and justice, shall disgust thy heart, but do thine honor no disgrace. Who works vile injury with unreasoning trust and force, and footing land by rank and place, conquereth nothing. The true conqueror he who dares do naked justice, fair and free. Yet to Sampaio will I not gainsay a noble valor shown by shrewdest blows, that shall o'er ocean flash like thunder ray, curded with 1,000 corpses of his foes. He shall in Bacanor make fierce essay on Malabar, till Ons in terror throws Cuchale, beaten with his battered fleet, the dreadful ruin of a rout complete. Nor less of Jew the fierce and fear are made, the dread of Shaul, daring, proudly mend, with single glance shall fall, till all have fled, our Hector da Silveira's heavy hand. Our Hector Portingal, of whom 'tis said, that o'er yon ever-armed Cambaean strand, such wrath on Guzrats 'tis his to wreak, as Trojan Hector wreaked on the Greek. Then shall succeed to fearsome pious powers Cunha, and hold the helm for many a year, building on Chalet town the lofty towers, while quakes illustrious Jew his name to hear. Bacen to him her sturdy standard lowers, yet not some bloodshed, for with groan and tear Melique seethed his proudest estacade, stormed not by firebrand, but by sway of blade. Next comes Noronha, whose auspicious sway Jew from the barbarous Rumewarman rends, Jew, which beleaguered in his warrior way Antônio da Silveira well defends. Soon must Noronha doom of death obey, when branch of thine, O Gama, Aiden's lens, to govern empire, and his fiery zeal fierce pallid hue to Red Sea waves shall deal. From thine Estevam's hand shall take the reign, one raised already to a high degree by his Brazilian wars, and trophies ta'en from the French pirate homed upon the sea. Then dubbed Emerald of our Indian main, the month's proud Valverde in her panoply, his scales, the first that open gate to thread, by flames and 1,000 Fletchers covered. To him Cambaea's king, that hottest Moor, shall yield in wealthy Jew the famous fort, that he may gain against the grand Mogor, spite his stupendous power, your firm support. Then shall he wend, most valiant conqueror, to hem the gentle king in Calicut port, so let and hindered, he and all who hide with him, retired, in their blood-red dyed. Low shall he lay the city Rapalline, her monarch forcing with his men to run. Then well nigh reach the cape-clapt Comorin, another wreath of fame by him is won. The strongest squadron of the Samarin, who doubted not to see the world undone, he shall destroy with rage of fire and steel. Beardala's self his martial yoke shall feel. Then from all Indus land thus swept the foes, the conqueror, coming sceptred state to claim, finds no resistance where none dare oppose, for nations tremble at his terrible name. Alone shall risk of war the scourging woes, Baticala and dree Beardala's shame. Here blood and corpses shall defile the land, deformed by thunderous gun and fiery brand. This shall be Martin, who the name of Mart breathed, and eke the deeds the name that gave, as much esteemed for arms in every part, as wise in stratagem, in counsel grave. Castro succeeds, who Lugia's estandard shall bear for ever in the front to wave. Successor the succeeded's work who endeth, that buildeth Jew, this builded Jew defendeth. The fightful Purse, the Bassian, and the Rum, who hath revived the name of Rome, their liege, of varied customs, various in costume, fell tribes 1,000 flocking to the siege, on earth against the heavens shall vainly fume, that guard such handfuls so their lands abridge. In blood of Portingals this pain Mirai voweth its crooked and curved moustache to die. Dread basiliscus, lion's fiery flame, fierce catapults, and mines that hidden spring, shall Mascarenhas and his barons dare, and to the sure death Gladmia shall bring. Till, when all hope is fled and reigns despair, Castro, the saviour, cometh offering his sons' young lives, and wills their names survive, God's sacrifices, in death to live. One son, Fernando, scion of trees so high, where violentest flames with loudest roar blow shattered ramparts to the smoky sky, there, stricken down on earth, shall heavenward soar. Alvaro, when mankind dread winter fly, and shift from humid path for arid shore, opens the waters, spite what risks oppose, and fighteth winds and waves to fight the foes. When, see, the father cuts the wavy waste, leading what resteth of the Lusitane, with woman's arm and arts which e'er be best, he offers battle's remedy sovereign. These scale the ramparts and at gateways jest, those cut broad gates through squads with rage insane. Deeds they shall do so die in memorious glory, song shall not suit, nor history hold the story. He shall once more upon the field appear, a strong, intrepid victor, where his sight Cambias' puissant king shall strike with fear, and hideous hosts of quadrupeds affright. Nor less shall fail his puissant reign to prear the Heidelcam, when mighty arms shall smite chastised Dabul, mistress of the coast, nor shall spare Ponda's distant inland post. Barons like these, with peers from various parts, all worthy marvel and all mastering fame, raised to rank of mart by martial arts, shall come the pleasures of this isle to claim. Their hands shall wave triumphant estandards, wherever keel-edge cutteth ocean's stream. Such men, these nymphs, these banquets shall find, honors and glories to high jests assigned. Thus sang the siren, while her sister choir, with their sonorous plaudits filled the hall, wherewith to hail the hour of glad desire, crowning the happy marriage festival. However fortune's wheel shall turn its tire, with one harmonious accent chaunted all, renowned people, rest your souls secure, of honor, valor, fame, while worlds endure. When man's corporeal necessity was with the noble viand satisfied, and when in sweet melodious suavity all had their lofty future feats descried, Tethys, with grace adorned and gravity, that with a higher pomp and double pride becrowned the revels of this joyous day, to glad and happy Gama thus 'gan say: To thee supremest wisdom guerdon gave, Baron, who hast beheld with fleshly eye what things the future hath the power to save from mortal's petty pride and science vain. Follow me firmly, prudent as thou'rt brave, to yonder craggy brake with all thy train. Thus she, and straightway through a long wood led, arduous, gloomy, fear for foot to tread. Nor far they stepped, when on culminant height, where stretched a gem-enamelled mead, they stood, smaragd and ruby strewn, so rich the sight, presumed 'twas paradisial floor they trod. Here swimmeth e'er a globe, through which the light of purest radiance pierced in such mode, that, as its polished surface clearest clear, so doth its centre and its core appear. What mode its matter be escapes their eyes, yet 'scapes them not, it holdeth in embrace various orbs, by wand of him all-wise, disposed to circle round one central place. Rolling it sinks and then returns to rise, and yet ne sinks ne rises, while one phase is shown to all and every part, each part begins in fine, and ends with heavenly art. Uniform, perfect, and self-poised it be, like the archetype who drew the grand design. Stood Gama, overwhelmed this globe to see, with joy, and hope its nature to divine. When thus the goddess: Here the epitome, in little volume, to those eyes of thine, I give the general world, so shalt thou view where goest thou shalt go, and what shalt do. Here see the mighty world-machine appear, ethereal where the fourfold elements blend, made by his deep design, his lofty lyre, who lacks beginning and who has no end. He who surrounding holds this shapely sphere, this globe-infilled surface, packed and penned, is God. But what God is, the intelligence of mortal genius ne'er shall dare pretend. This primal orb, that rolling doth enclose the lesser circles in its lines confine, this sphere, whose flood of clearest radiance flows, blinding men's vision and his vulgar mind, is height th' empyrean. Here the blest repose, here perfect spirits bliss eternal find, ineffable joys which he alone may ken, who hath no likeness in the world of men. Only to this imperial sphere belong the gods of truth, for Saturn, Janus, I, Jove and his Juno, are a fabled throng, a mortal figment, a blind fantasy. Only to deck the poet's sprightly song we served, and if more humanity we gained of men, 'twas that his wit hath given our names and natures to the stars of heaven. And eke because that holy Providence, the Jupiter of mythologic strain, by thousand spirits wise in perfect sense, ruleth all mundane things it doth sustain. Prophetic science doth this truth dispense, a truth so many instances maintain. Sprites that be good aye guide and favour men, the bad his course impede whene'er they can. Here will it picture, leave with change to play, pleasing in teaching, mixing gay and grave, to give them titles which your olden lay to fabled gods in poet fables gave. For even the angels of the eternal day, as gods enrolled, were in sacred stave, which e'en denies not such exalted name, sometimes to sinner, though with falsest claim. In fine, the God supreme, who works his will by second worldly causes, all commands. Return we now the works profound to tell of his divine and venerated hands. Beneath this circle, where all blissful dwell, pure godly sprites, which fixed for ever stands, another rolleth, and so swift none see its course. This is the primum mobile, and with its rapt and rapid whirl it drags all lesser spherelets which its womb containeth. By work of this the sun, who never flags, with alien courses day and night sustaineth. 'Neath this swift orb another orb slow lags, so slow, so hard a curb its ardour reigneth, while Phoebus makes, with ever splendid face, 200 rounds, this moves a single pace. Lower, this other view, enamelled gay, with burnished figures, gleaming, radiant bright, which in it too hold constant ordered way, orbs on their axis scintillant and pie. Thou seest well 'tis dight with brave array of broad and golden zone, the zodiac height, wherein 12 starry forms of animals shine, that Phoebus mentions limit and define. Behold, in other parts the portraiture, limned by the stars that sparkling glances shed. Behold the Wain, attend the cynosure, and with her fierce warm father Andromed. See Cassiopeia's beauty lovely pure, with turbulent Orient's gesture dread. Behold the Swan that doth in song expire, the hare and hounds, the ship and dulcet lyre. Beneath this firmamental canopy thou seest Saturn's sky, that godhead old, with faster flight doth Jove below him fly, and Mars yet lower, Bellic planet bold. In the fourth seat shines heaven's radiant eye, then Venus leadeth all her loves enrolled. Mercury wends with eloquence divine, and 'neath him Dian showeth faces trine. In all these orbits motion different shalt see, in these 'tis swift, in those 'tis slow. Now fly they farthest from the firmament, then sweep they nearest earth that lurks below. Even so willed the Sire omnipotent, who made the fire and air, the wind and snow. These lie more inward, as thou shalt be shown, and earth with ocean for their centre own. Within this centre, in of humankind, whose reckless spirits not alone defy sufferings and ills to stable earth confined, but in the sea's fierce instability, thou shalt see various continents defined by blindly raging tides, where parted lie the various realms which various monarchs sway, whose varied customs varied laws obey. See high, hot Europe, that adores the rude, for power and polity o'er all renowned. See Afric, grudging every worldly good, yon rough, incult, and monster-haunted ground, whose stormy cape till now your search withstood, by nature stablished as her austral bound. Behold this quarter, where the black Moors dwell, Saint Lois, Saint Foix, whose numbers none can tell. Behold the Benamotapa's puissant reign of salvage negroes, nude and noisome race, where shall for holy faith be foully slain martyred Gonçalo, suffering sore disgrace. This hidden hemisphere to golden vein gives birth, which man must win by sweat of face. See from yon lake whence Nilus rolls his tide, how springs Kuama from the farther side. Behold those Blackmoors and their huts that stand sundoors, each castled in his natal nest. They trust of royal justice the command, and in the candour of the neighbour's breast. Behold how furious flies the bestial band, like flock of dingy steers thick-packed and pressed. To fight Sofala's fortress they pretend, which dexterous Naia's arm and wits defend. See there the lakes that cradle Father Nile, whose ultim sources men of old ne'er knew. See how the waters, gendering crocodile, a Basiliond whose sons to Christ be true. Behold how bare of bulwarks, novel style, they show a better front against the foe. See Meroe Island, whilom known to fame, which now the wild inhabitants Noba name. On distant Afric hills a son of thee in Turkish wars shall win the fame of brave. Hight Don Cristovan shall the hero be, but flesh from destined death no skill shall save. Here view the coast where shelter from the sea and glad relief to thee Melinde gave. Note how yon raptous stream, whose wide expanse natives call Obi, entereth in Kilmance. The cape which ancients aromatic leap, behold, I clapped by moderns guarda-fu, where opes the Red Sea mouth, so wide and deep, the sea whose ruddy bed lends blushing hue. This as a bourne was far thrust out to keep Asia distinct from Afric, and a few of the best markets Negro seaboards claim, Arquico are, Massoua and Suan came. View extreme Suez here, old annals say, once stood a city high Hieropolis, by some Arsino called, and in our day she holdeth Egypt's fleets and argosies. Behold the watery deeps, where clove his way Moses, the mighty, in past centuries. Asia beginneth here her huge extent, in regions, kingdoms, empires opulent. See Sinai mountain, with her boast and pride, the silver beer of saintly Catherine. See Toro port and Jeddah, scant supplied with fountain water, soft and crystalline. Behold the straits, which end the southern side of arid Eden realms, that here confine with tall Arziran range, nude stone and live, whence soft sweet rains of heaven ne'er derive. See threefold Araby, covering so much ground, where 20 peoples vague o'er vasty space, whence come the Rabbites, best for battle found, light-limbed, high-fettled, noble-blooded race. Behold the coast that trends to bind and bound yon other Persian strait, where sight can trace the headland proud, the potent name to own, of Fartak city, erst to fame well known. Behold ensigned Dhofar, that doth commend for Christian altars sweetest incense store. But note, beginning now on further bend of Rosalgates' ever-greedy shore, yon Hormuz kingdom, strown along the strand, whose fame for riches still shall higher soar, when the Turk's galleys and his fears are made see Castel Branco bear his deadly blade. Behold of Assabon the head, now hight Mozandam by the men who plough the main. Here lies the gulf, whose long and lake-like bite parts Arabite from fertile Persia's plain. Attend yon Barham Isle, with depths bedight by the rich pearly shell whose blushes feign auroran tints, and view in ocean brine Euphrates and Tiger in one bed conjoin. Great Persia's noble empire here behold, ever on destrier or in camp of war, whose sons disdain the copper tube to mold, and hands not horny with the scimitar. But see yon Garum Isle the tale unfold of mighty things which time can make or mar. For of our Musa town, yon shore upon, the name and glory this her rival won. Here Dom Felipe de Menezes view, approved a doughty valiant man-at-arms, who with his Portuguese exceeding few shall quell the Lara Parsis potent swarms. Pedro de Souza too shall make them rue reversed fortunes, warfare's deadliest harms, who had his prowess in Ampasa shown, and took the land by sweep of sword alone. But now the Narrows and their noted head, Cape Jask, Carpella called by those of yore, quit we, the dry terrene scant favoured, by nature niggard of her normal store. While ere Carmania 'twas entitled, but view fair Indus flood, whose waters pour adown his natal heights, and in the range of neighbour mountains see the source of Gange. Behold, Alcindi's most luxuriant land, and of Jaquetta's shore yon Intim bay, the monster boar which roaring floods the strand, and ebb which flieth with like force away. See where Cambaya's rich ferocious band boundeth re-entering seas, the Gulf Cambay, and thousand cities which I leave untold here hoard their wealth for you to have and hold. See, runs the celebrate seaboard Hindustanian southward till reached its point, Cape Comory, erst Kori called, where th' island Taprobanian, 'tis now Ceylon, encrowns the fronting sea. Besides these waves, thy people Lusitanian, who with their doughty arms will follow thee, by conquering wars shall lands and towns debel, wherein your sons and sons of sons shall dwell. The regions lying 'twixt these rivers twain, thou seest, with various tribes are infinite. Here rule the Moslems, there the Gentoos reign, whose holy writ the devil did indite. See where Narsinga's seignourings contain the saintly relics blessing human sprite. Thome's remains the missioner sanctified, who thrust his finger in Lord Jesus' side. He rose the potent city, Maliapore named, in olden time rich, vast, and grand. Her sons their olden idols did adore, as still adoreth that iniquitous band. In those past ages stood she, far from shore, when to declare glad tidings o'er the land, Thome came preaching, after he had trod 1,000 regions, taught to know his God. Here came he preaching, and the while he gave health to the sick, revival to the dead, when chance one day brought floating o'er the wave a forest tree of size unmeasured. The king a palace building lief would save the way for timber, and determined the mighty bulk of trunk ashore to train by force of engines, elephants, and men. Now was that lumber of such vasty size, no jot it moves, however hard they bear, when, lo, the apostle of Christ's verities wastes in the business less of toil and care. His trailing waistcoat to the tree he ties, raises, and sun and effort hails it where a sumptuous temple he would rear sublime, a fixed example for all future time. Right well he knew how 'tis of faith averred. Faith moveth mountains, will or nill they move, lending a listening ear to holy word. As Christ had taught him, so 'twas his to prove. By such a miracle much the mob was stirred. The Brahmins held it something from above, for, seen his signs and seen his saintly life, they feared the loss of old prerogative. These be the sacerdotes of gentle creed, that of sore jealousy felt most the pain. They seek ill ways 1,000, and take rede, Thome to silence or to gar him slain. The principal who dons the three-twined thread, by a deed of horror makes the lesson plain. There be no hatred fell, and fear, and cursed, as by false virtue for true virtue nursed. One of his sons he slaughters, and accuses Thome of murder, who was innocent, bringing false witnesses, as there the use is, him to the death they doom incontinent. The saint, assured that his best excuses are his appeals to God omnipotent, prepares to work before the king and court a public marvel of the major sort. He bids be brought the body of the slain, that it may live again, and be affied to name its slayer, and its word be ta'en as proof of testimony certified. All saw the youth revive, arise again, in name of Jesus Christ the crucified. Thome he thanks when raised to life anew, and names his father as the man who slew. So much of marvel did this miracle claim, straightway in holy water bathes the king, followed by many. These kiss Thome's hand, while those the praisers of his godhead sing. Such ire the Brahmins, and such furious flame, envy so pricks them with her venomed sting, that rousing ruffian rout to wrath condign, a second slaughter plot to the priest's design. One day, when preaching to the folk he stood, they feigned a quarrel mid the mob to rise. Already Christ his holy man endowed with saintly martyrdom that opes the sky. Rained innumerable stones the crowd upon the victim, sacred sacrifice, and last a villain, hastier than the rest, pierced with a cruel spear his godly breast. Wept Gange and Indus, true Thome, thy fate, wept thee whatever lands thy foot had trod. Yet weep thee more the souls in blissful state thou ledst to don the robes of holy rood. But angels waiting at the paradise gate met thee with smiling faces, hymning God. We pray thee, pray that still vouchsafe thy Lord unto thy illusions his good aid afford. And you, ye others, who usurp the name of God's apostles, missioners like Thome, say, on ye boast of apostolic claim, why fear not holy faith to preach and pray? If ye be salt, see how yourselves ye shame, cleaving to home where none the prophet play. How shall be salted in dark days as these, pagans I leave, such hosts of heresies? But now this perilous theme I pass beyond. Gain we again the limned shore in sight. Here, with the city, whereof fame is fond, bends the long bowline of Gangetic Bight. Runneth Narsinga rich and potent lawn, runneth Orissa vaunting Tishis bright, and at the bottom of the bay's long line, illustrious Ganges seeks his home, the brine. Ganges whose accolades bathe and bathing die, and die in lively faith with all secure, whatever sins upon their spirits lie, the holy waters lave them sinless pure. See Kavigam amid the highest high, in Bengal province, proud of varied store abundant, but behold how placed the post, where sweeps the shoreline towards the southing coast. Arakan realm behold the seed of Pegu peopled by a monster brood, monsters that gendered meeting most unmeet of whelp and woman in the lonely wood. Here bells of sounding oracle they fit upon their bodies by the crafty hood of subtle queen, who such new custom planned to bait adulterous sin and crimely fend. Behold Tavai city, whence begin Siam's dominions, reign of vast extent. Tenassery, Kedah, of towns the queen, that bear the burden of the hot piment. There farther forward shall ye make, I ween, Malacca's market grand and opulent, whither each province of the long seaboard shall send of merchantry rich varied hoard. From this peninsula, they say, the sea parted with puissant waves, and entering tore Sumatra's noble island, wont to be joined to the main as seen by men of yore. 'Twas called Chersonese, and such degree it gained by earth that yielded golden ore. They gave a golden epithet to the ground. Some be who fancy Ophir here was found. But on her lands enthroned see Singapore, where the wide sea road shrinks to narrow way. Thence curves the coast to face the Cynosure, and lastly trends Aurora ward its lay. See Pam, Patani, and in length obscure Siam, that ruleth all with royal sway. Behold Menam, who rolls his lordly tide from source Kiamai called, lake long and wide. Thou seest in spaces of such vast extent nations of thousand names, and yet unnamed, Laos in land and people prepotent, Avas and Brahmas for vast ranges famed. See how in distant wilds and wolds lie pent the self-styled Geans, salvage folk untamed. Men's flesh they eat, their own they paint and sear, branding with burning iron, usage fear. See Mekam River fret Cambodia's coast, his name by water captain men explain. In summer only, when he swelleth most, he leaves his bed to flood and feed the plain. As the fur Nile he doth his freshets boast, his peoples hold the fond belief and vain that pains and glories after death are signed to brutes and soulless beasts of basest kind. The stream, with gentle, bland repose, shall greet in his embrace the song that swam to land from sad and piteous shipwreck, dripping wet, escaped from the reefs and rocks that fang the strand. From hunger tortures and the perilous trade, what time went forth the dire unjust command on him whose high sonorous lyre shall claim such want of fortune and such wealth of fame. Here courseth, see, the called Champa shore, with woods of odorous wood 'tis decked and dight. See Colchicina, still of note obscure, and of Ainam yon undiscovered bight. Here the proud empire famed evermore for widespread lands and wealth and matchless might, of China runs, and boasts the whole her own, twixt torrid Cancer and the frigid zone. Behold yon wondrous and incredible wall, this and that other region built to part, most certain symbol this which shows to all imperial puissance, proud in arm and art. These their born princes to the throne ne'er call, nor son succeedeth sire in subject heart. The properest men as monarch they devise, some knight for virtue famed, brave and wise. Perforce hide other vastly lands from thee, until what time no land remain unfound. But leave thou not those islands of the sea, where nature rises to fame's highest round. This realm half-shadowed, China's empery, afar reflecting, whither ships are bound, is the Japan, whose virgin silver mine shall shine still sheenier with the law divine. Here see o'er oriental seas bespread infinite island groups, and allwhere strewed Tidor, Ternate view, whose burning head lanceth the wavy flame and fiery flood. There see the groves the biting clove but shed, bought with the price of Portuguese's blood. Here dwell the golden fowls, whose home is air, and never earthward save in death may fare. See Bunda's islets, which enamelled glow, various painted by the rosy fruits. Variegate birds, that flit from bough to bough, take tithe and tribute of the greeny nuts. See Bornea's sea-girt shore, where ever flow the perfumed liquors thick and curded gouts, the tears of forest treemen, camphor cleave, wherefore that island crop of fame shall reap. Timor thence further sendeth forth her store of fragrant saunders, wood medicinal. See Sunda's isle, so stretch her farther shore, that hideth austere regions of Apol. The wandering men who inner wilds explore tell of a stream whose marvels never pall, for where its lone and single current floweth, that wood that in it falls a live stone groweth. Behold yon land, made island of the sea by time, whose trembling flame in vapours swelleth. See Petroil fountain, and the prodigy of odorous juice the weeping tree distilleth, sweeter than tears shed in Araby, by Cinera's daughter, wherefore aye she dwelleth. And see how holding all that others hold, soft silk she hoardeth, and the nugget gold. See in Salem that peak so stark, so gaunt, shooting high o'er the clouds, or mocking sight. The native peoples hold it sacrosanct, for the faint stone where print of foot is spied. O'er lone Maldivia's islets grows the plant, beneath profoundest seas of sovereign might, whose poem of every theriac is confessed by cunning leech of antidotes the best. Eke shalt thou see to form the Red Sea strait Socotra, famed for aloe's bitter growth. I subject other sea-girt isles to wake your steps where sandy Afric's seaboard showeth, and yieldeth floating mass rare odorit, but whence it cometh none of mortals knoweth. Of some Lorenzo see yon famous isle, which certain travellers Madagascar style. Here distant Orient's new-found climate see, climes on the world by this your feet bestowed, that opened ocean portals paid and free, whose vasty plain with doughty hearts you plowed. But in the ponent all's a reason be, illusion's noble exploit be avowed, who being greatly by his king aggrieved, shall force a passage fancy ne'er concede. See yon huge region, whose continuous lines course from Callisto to the contrary pole. Superb shall it be by boast of lucent mines, whose veins Apollo's golden tincture stole. Castile, your ally, worthily designs to make its barbarous neck her yoke to thole. In varied regions bide its various tribes, with different rites which different use prescribes. But here, where earth spreads wider, ye shall claim realms by the ruddy dyewood made renowned. These of the sacred cross shall win the name. By your first navy shall that world be found. Along the seaboard, which your arm shall tame, shall wend him seeking earth's extremest bound, Magellan, who, good sooth, by birth shall be a Portuguese in all save loyalty. And when his courses pass the midway place, which from the pole Antarctic parts the line, he shall behold an all but giant race, holding the countries which therewith confine. So onwards lie the straits that aye shall grace his name, which sea with sea through land conjoin, a sea and land where horrid Auster bideth, and 'neath his frozen wings their measure hideth. Thus far, O Portingals, to you was given the feats of future ages now to know, how o'er those oceans which your keels have riven, great-hearted barons grandest deeds shall do. And hence, since all with mighty toils have striven, toils by whose fame your favour aye shall grow, with your eternal spouses, debonair, who shall weave glorious crowns for you to wear. Ye can embark, for favouring blows the wind, and to your well-loved home the seas be clear. Thus spake the goddess, and the braves inclined from the glad island of sweet love to steer. They bear refreshment of the noblest kind, they bear the longed-for company, each his fear, the nymph that ever shall in heart abide, long as the sunshine warmeth land and tide. So fare they, cutting through the main serene, with favouring breezes that ne'er blew in ire, till they had sighted that familiar scene, their fatherland and ever fond desire. They passed the Taga's mouth, our stream Amin, and gave their country and their dread-loved sire, who will their voyage, glory and renown, and added lustrous titles to his crown. No more, my muse, no more, for now my lyre untuned lies, and hoarse my voice of song. Not that of singing tire I, but I tire, singing for stirred and horny-hearted throng. Favours which poet fancy mostly fire, our land gives not, I know, 'tis plunged too long in lust of lucre, whelmed in rudest folly, a vile, austere, and vulgar melancholy. Nor can I wherefore, by what fate indign, she joys in genial pride, in a general taste, which strengthen mortal spirit, and incline to face all travail with a happy haste. Wherefore, O King, thou whom the will divine hath on the kingly throne for purpose placed, look that thou be, and see the realms of earth, so lord of vessels peerless in their worth. Look how they gladly wend by many a way, with raging bulls or rampant lions' might, self-doomed to sleepless night and foodless day, to fire and steel, shaft-shower, and bullet-flight, to torrid tropics, arctics frore and grey, the pagan's buffet and the Moor's despite, to risks invisible, threatening human life, to wrack, sea-monsters, and the waves' wild strife. All risks to serve thy cause they dare affront, to thee, though distant, yield they homage due, of every hard command they bear the brunt, some answer, ever prompt and ever true. On single look of favour could they count infernal demons, black with hell's own hue, with thee they fain encounter, and they dare, unconquered conqueror, their king declare. Favour them always, gladden every face with thy fair presence, blithe humanity. Of rigorous rule relieve them, deal the grace of milder law that leads to sanctity. Impart to long experience rank and place, on with experience, habit, honesty, to work thy sovereign will. Thus all shall trow what things befall them, whence and when and how. All favoured thou, in duty's different way, as in each life the stored talent lies. Let the religious for thy governance pray, and beg a blessing on each high emprise. Fast they, and fash their flesh for those who stray in vulgar vices, and as wind the spy's ambition, ne'er shall holy priest mislead glare of vainglory, nor of gain the greed. Foster the cavaliers with fair esteem, that oft their fearless fiery blood have lent to spread not only heaven's law supreme, but eke the royal rule preeminent. Such men who fare to face each fell extreme of climate in thy cause aid diligent, conquer a double foe, with the foam that live, and deadlier task with dark dumb dangers strive. So do, my sire, that sons of famous lands, Britons, Italians, Germans, and the Gaul, ne'er vaunt that might of mortal man commends thy Portugals, who should command them all. Take counsel only with experienced hands, men who long years, long moons saw rise and fall. Many for general science fitness show, yet the particulars none save experts know. Elegant Formian's philosophic store, see how the practised Hannibal derided, when lectured he with wealth of Bellic lore, and on big words and books himself he prided. Senhor, The soldier's discipline is more than man may learn by mother fancy guided, not musing, dreaming, reading what they write. 'Tis seeing, doing, fighting, teach to fight. But I, what dare I say, rude, humble, low, to thee, unknown, yes, even in thy dreams? Yet oft from lips of babes and sucklings flow, I trow, the words of wisdom man esteems. Right honest studies my career can show, with long experience blent, as best beseems. And genius, here presented for thy view, gifts that conjoined appertain to few. For serving thee an arm to arms addressed, for singing thee a soul the muses raise, naught lacks me, save of thee to stand confessed, whose duty 'tis the good to prize and praise. If heaven concede me this, and if thy breast deign incept worthy of a poet's lace, as doth presage my spirit vaticine, viewing thee pace the human path divine, or doing such daring do, that ne'er Medusa shall Atlas' mountain like thy glances shake, or battling on the plains of Ampelus, Morocco's Moors and Teredan to break, my now esteemed and rejoicing muse, thy name o'er earth, I swear, so famed shall make, an Alexander shall in thee be shown, who of Achilles envy ne'er shall own. End of Canto X. Rejected Stanzas of the Lusíads. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Recording by Leni. The Lusíads, by Luís Vaz de Camões, translated by Sir Richard Francis Burton. Rejected Stanzas. Note: these stanzas, omitted by Camões, were discovered by Manuel de Faria e Souza and published in his Commentaries, Juan Sanchez, 1639. The whole are extant in 3 manuscripts. Number 1, the better of the 2 first, contains only 6 cantos. Number 2, belonging to M. Correia Montenegro, embraces the whole poem. The 3rd manuscript, in the hands of M. Luís Franco, is given by Viscount Jurumenha, volume 6, 419. It has only 4 rejected stanzas. The first 3 are those of Faria e Souza, and the 4th is that of the established text, Canto I, 79, with a few unimportant changes of words and rhymes. These stanzas number: Manuscript number 1, 48 plus 2 fragments, 49. Manuscript number 2, Correia Montenegros, 26. Manuscript number 3, Luís Franco's, 4. Total 79. I will not here enter into the consideration why the stanzas were left out. Many of them fully equal those retained in the popular Lusíads, but almost all contain something opposed to public, or rather to priestly, sentiment. A cursory glance shows that not a few want the polish and finish which distinguish the poem. I have purposely followed suit for the sake of contrast and fidelity. Jurumenha's original text is printed in verso, that the reader may judge how literal is my version, which, for additional security, was submitted to Mr. J. J. Auberton, the translator of the Lusíads. The rejected stanzas, manuscript number 1, Canto I, stanza 77, modified. Isto dizendo, irado e quase insano, sobre a tebana parte descendeu, onde vestindo a forma e gesto humano, para onde o sol nasce se moveu. Já atravessa mar Mediterrâneo, já de Cleópatra o reino discorreu, já deixa a mão direita os garamantes e os desertos de Líbia circunstantes. He spake in fury wood, like wight insane, and straight alighted on the Theban way, where mortal jest and human vesture ta'en, he bore where newborn Phoebus bears the day. Now spans his flight the Mediterranean main, now spurns the bounds of Cleopatra's sway, now leaves to the right the Garamantes land, and circumjacent sheets of Libyan sand. 2. Já Meroe deixa atrás, e a terra ardente, que o septenfluo rio vai regando, onde reina o mui santo presidente, os preceitos de Cristo amoestando. Já passa a terra de águas carecente, que estão as alagoas sustentando, donde seu nascimento tem o Nilo, que gera o monstruoso crocodilo. Now lives he merry mid the fiery downs, fed by the waters of the seven-flood river, realms which the high and holy President owns, of Christ his doctrine old and true believer. He passes droughty land whose people wones lacking the lakes that roll their waters ever, the very birthplace of the secret Nile, who breeds the monstrous brood of crocodile. 3. Daqui ao Cabo Praço vai direito, e entrando em Moçambique, nesse instante, se faz na forma mouro contrafeito, a um dos mais honrados semelhante. E como a seu regente fosse aceito, entrando um pouco triste no semblante, desta sorte o tebano lhe falava, apartando-o dos outros com que estava. Hence to the Pressum headland fast he flies, and making Mozambique in briefest space, becomes the counterfeit, in moorman guise, of one that held high honourable place. And as the regent much this Moor did prize, entering with somewhat sad and charged face, began the Theban thus his plaint to make, removing others who sat near the sheik. Canto I, after stanza 80. E para que dês crédito ao que falo, que este capitão falso está ordenando, sabe que quando foste a visitá-lo, ouvi dous neste caso estar falando. No que digo, não faças intervalo, que eu te digo sem falta como, quando, os podes destruir, que é bem olhado, que quem quer enganar, fica enganado. And eke, that credit these my words befall, showing what plotteth yon false capitaine, know, when thou wentedst on thy guest to call, I heard this case debated twixt the twain. In what I tell thee, make no interval, and I will truly tell thee how, when, where, thou canst destroy them, for I lieve believe we should deceive him who would us deceive. Canto III, after stanza 10. Entre este mar e as águas onde vem, correndo largo Tânais de contínuo, os sármatas estão, que se mantêm, bebendo roxo sangue, leite equino. Aqui vivem os mícios, que também têm parte de Ásia, povo baixo e indino, e os hábios que mulheres não recebem, e muitos mais que o Boristênis bebem. Between this ocean and the waters shed to feed large Tânais, flowing ceaseless flood, dwell the Sarmati races, who are fed on mere milk diet mixed with purpling blood. Here live the Mysian peoples that o'erspread a part of Asia, low and glorious brood. Abii who banish women, and with these a host of tribes that drink Borysthenes. Canto III, for stanza 29. Mas a iníqua mãe, seguindo em tudo, do peito feminil a condição, tomava por marido a Dom Bermudo, e a Dom Bermudo a tomam seu irmão. Vede um pecado grave, bruto e rudo, de outro nascido, ó grande admiração, que o marido deixado vem a ter quem tem por enteada e por mulher. But his ill mother, following whither led her woman's bosom, ready aye to range, took Dom Bermudo to her marriage bed, and Dom Bermudo's brother takes in change. See the foul, sinful, bestial action bred, by crime begetting crime, strange, mighty strange, that left her husband she remains for heir, his married sister and his married fair. Canto IV, after stanza 2, translated in the Milieu-Joubert edition of 1862. Sempre foram bastardos valerosos, por letras ou por armas, ou por tudo. Foram-o os mais dos deuses mentirosos, que celebrou o antigo povo rudo. Mercúrio e o douto Apolo são famosos, per ciência diversa e longo estudo. Outros são só por armas soberanos, Hércules e Lieu, ambos tebanos. The meed of valor bastards aye have claimed, by arts or arms, or haply both conjoined. Such were of fabled gods the most enfamed, to whom rude Antians highest rank assigned. Hermes and dogged Apollo still are named, for varied science with long art combined. Others by arms alone prevail. So reigned Bacchus and Hercules, that Theban twain. 2. Bastardos são também Homero e Orfeu, dous a quem tantos versos ilustraram, e os dous de quem o império procedeu, que Troia e Roma em Itália edificaram. Pois se é certo que a fama já escreveu, se muitos a Filipo nomearam, por pai do macedônico mancebo, outros lhe dão o manho Nectanebo. Homer and Orpheus, eke, of birth were base, the pair by poetry raised to such degree, and they, the sires of that imperial race, who founded Troy and Rome for Italy. Nay, on unwritten legend trust we place, though many Philip may the father be, of Macedonia's youth, not few would prove, great Nectanebus filched his mother's love. 3. Assim o filho de Pedro Justiçoso, sendo governador alevantado do reino, foi nas armas tão ditoso, que bem pode igualar qualquer passado. Porque vendo-se o reino receoso de ser do castelhano subjugado, aos seus o medo tira, que os alcança, aos outros a falsífica esperança. Thus Justiciaris Pedro's bastard son, being exalted o'er the realm to sway, by gestes of arms such goods of fortune won, that equaled every great of bygone day. He, when his kingdom feared to be undone, and prostrate lie the proud Castilian spray, baiteth the terror his own lieges tries, and in all others esperance falsifies. Canto IV, after stanza 11, omitted because Catalunya and Aragon did not then belong to Castile. Nem no reino ficou de Tarragona quem não siga de Marte o duro ofício, nem na cidade nobre que se abona com ser dos Scipiões claro edifício. Também a celebrada Barcelona mandou soldados destros no exercício. Todos estes ajunta o castelhano contra o pequeno reino lusitano. Remained none in realm of Tarragon who shirked to meddle in matters dour and prize, none in the noble city whose renown upon her founder Scipio's name relies, and last not least the far-famed Barcelon, sent warmen tried in warlike exercise. All these strong powers uniteth haughty Spain against our little Lusitanian reign. Canto IV, after stanza 13. Ó inimigos maus da natureza, que injuriais a própria geração, degenerantes, baixos, que fraqueza de esforço, de saber e de razão vos fez que a clara estirpe que se preza de leal, fido e limpo coração ofendais dessa sorte, mas respeito que este dos grandes é o menor defeito. O foes unnatural, nature's somas bred, race of thy race's name disgrace that art, degenerates, caitiffs, say what feeble dread, sun wisdom, reason, all men's better part, have made a gallant people, born and bred loyal and brave, with clean and candid heart, offend in such base guise, but I suspect amid the great this be the least defect. Canto IV, in lieu of stanza 21. Qual mancebo claro, no romano senado, os grandes medos aquebranta do grão cartaginês, que soberanos cutelos lhe tinha na garganta, quando ganhando o nome de africano, a resistir-lhe foi com fúria tanta, que a pátria duvidosa libertou, o que Fábio invejoso não cuidou. E'en as the noble youth of Roman strain strengthened the senate, fain in fear of flight, the Carthaginian, who, all sovereign, his whetted blade to shrinking throats brought nigh, when worthily winning surname African, his furious force so did their force defy, his doubtful country free as air he made, when jealous Fabius still his rede delayed. Canto IV, after stanza 27. Já a fresca filha de Titão trazia, o sempre memorando o dia, quando as vésperas se cantam de Maria, que este mês honra, o nome seu tomando. Para a batalha estava já este dia determinado. Logo, embranqueando a alva no céu, os reis se aparelhavam, e as gentes com palavras animavam. Now Titan's daughter fresh and rosy came, bringing that memorable, deathless day, when vespers chaunted are in Mary's name, honoring the holy month whose name is May. This day, for battle having fittest claim, was chosen. Now, as paled the morning grey, bleaching the skies, both kings unsheathed their swords, their hosts unheartening with hardy words. Canto IV, after stanza 33. E vós, imperadores, que mandastes tanta parte do mundo sempre usados a resistir os ásperos contrastes de traidores cruéis e alevantados, não vos queixeis, que agora se atentastes, um dos mais claros reis e mais amados vê contra si, contra seu reino, e lei seus vassalos por outro estranho rei. And emperors, you that held and had command o'er so much earth, ready to resist in asperous conflict and the wrong withstand of cruel traitors raising treason's crest, complain ye not, nay, well this chance attend, one of the noblest kings and loved the best, sees 'gainst his law, his crown, his self, his all, vavasors rise to sue a stranger's thrall. Canto IV, after stanza 35. These Homeric stanzas on the deaths of Portuguese knights took away interest from the central figure, the king. Passaram a Giraldo com as entranhas o grosso e forte escudo que tomara a Pérez que matou, que o seu de estranhas cutiladas desfeito já deixara. Morrem Pedro e Duarte, que façanhas nos brijos tinham feito, a quem criara Bragança, ambos mancebos, ambos fortes, companheiros nas vidas e nas mortes. Pierced Giraldo's vitals through and through, and eke the huge thick targe he snatched away from Paris whom he killed, his own with hew and strangest hack of cutlass useless lay. Dies Pedro, and Duarte dies, in lieu of death amid the Britons. Born were they, both in Braganza, brave in youthful pride. Together lived they, fought they, fell they, died. 2. Morrem Lopo e Vicente de Lisboa, que estavam conjurados a acabarem, ou a ganharem ambos a coroa, de quantos nesta guerra se afamarem. Por cima do cavalo Afonso voa, que 5 castelhanos, por vingarem a morte de outros 5 que matara, o vão privar a si da vida cara. Lopo and Vicente de Lisboa bleed, sworn in the common cause to meet their fate, or both the crown to gain and victory's meed to snatch from all whom most in fame this bade. Afonso flieth from his battle steed for 5 Castilians who in ambush wait to venge 5 comrades slain in earlier strife, packing around him pluck his precious life. 3. De 3 lanças passado Hilário cai, mas primeiro vingado a sua tinha. Não lhe pesa porque a alma se lhe sai, mas porque a linda Antônia nele vinha. O fugitivo espírito se lhe vai, e nele o pensamento que o sustinha, e saindo da dama a quem servia, o nome lhe cortou na boca fria. Down falls Hilário, drilled by spearheads 3, but first he took the vengeance of his spear. He mourneth not because his sprite goes free, but for that comes in it Antonia fair. Flitteth the fugitive spirit fast, and flee with it the thoughts sustaining all to there. And as life fled the service of his dame, fell from his clay-cold lips her broken name. Canto IV, in lieu of stanza 39. Favorecem os seus com grandes gritas o sucesso do tiro, e ele logo toma outra, que jaziam infinitas dos que as vidas perderam neste jogo. Correm, restando-a forte, e Darte incita a brava guerra os seus, que ardendo em fogo, vão ferindo os cavalos de esporadas e os duros inimigos de lançadas. His followers favor with a piercing cry this goodly lunge of lance, nor is he slow to snatch another for innumerous lie the weapons lost by battle's losing throw. He runs with couched spear, his bravery urgeth his braves, who brent with martial low into the courser's flanks keen rowels thrust, and lands the foeman level with the dust. Canto IV, after stanza 40, the corresponding deaths of Spanish knights. Velázquez morre Sanches de Toledo, grande caçador, outro letrado. Também perece Galbes, que sem medo sempre dos companheiros foi chamado. Montanches, Oropesa, Mondoñedo, qualquer destro nas armas esforçado, todos per mãos de Antônio, moço forte, destro mais que eles, pois os trouxe à morte. Velázquez dies with Sanches de Toledo, a mighty hunter this, and that a clerk. Galbas eke perisheth, surnamed Sem Medo, for thus his comrades called for countermark. Montanches, Oropesa, Mondoñedo, albeit skilled in arms, in sinews stark, fell by Antonio's hand, stout youth and brave, whose lance more dexterous drave them to the grave. 2. Guevara, roncador, que o rosto untava, mãos e barba do sangue que corria, por dizer que dos muitos que matava, saltava nele o sangue e o tingia, quando destes abusos se jactava, de través lhe dá Pedro, que o ouvia, tal golpe com que ali lhe foi partida, do corpo a vã cabeça e a torpe vida. Braggart Guevara, who his front had dyed, and hands and beard with blood that tinged the plain, that he might bluster how the gory tide had spurted, painting him with honored stain, him bellowing such bravadoes in his pride, Pedro, who heard the vauntings loud and vain, felled with such side-stroke that his empty head flew from his body, and his base life fled. 3. Pelo ar a cabeça lhe voou, ainda contando a história de seus feitos. Pedro, do negro sangue que esguichou, foi todo salpicado, rosto e peitos. Justa vingança do que em vida usou. Logo com ele ao ocaso vão direitos, Carrilho, João da Lorca com Robledo, porque os outros fugindo vão de medo. Flew high in airy space his feckless paid, while still a boasting of some blatant jest. Pedro, besprinkled by the squirt and jet, feels black blood trickling down his beard and breast, wherewith the malapert pays his vengeance debt. Carrilho's sun eke setteth in its west, Juan de Lorca and Robledo follow, while th' other braves in flight their boasts must swallow. 4. Salazar, grão tafu e o mais antigo, rufião que Sevilha então sustinha, a quem a falsa amiga que consigo trouxe, de noite só fugido tinha, fugiu-lhe a amiga, enfim, para outro amigo, porque viu que o dinheiro com que vinha perdeu todo de um resto, e não perdera se uma carta de espadas lhe viera. Salazar, famous parasite, and the head pander who made Sevilla town and fame, whom his false leman had at night-tide fled, though to the campment she had brought her shame, lief would with other friend this fair friend bed, for that the ducats wherewithal he came were lost upon a cast, nor were they lost had but a hand of spades came uppermost. 5. O desprezo da amiga o desatina, e o mundo todo, a terra e o céu vagante, blasfemando ameaça, e determina de vingar-se em qualquer que achar diante. Encontra com Gaspar, que Catarina ama em extremo, e leva do montante, que no ar fere fogo, e certo cria que um monte da pancada fenderia. His she-friend's treason gars him wits to tine, and threaten universe, earth, and vacant skies, blaspheming, and resolve with rage and dine all who dare cross his valor to chastise. Encountering Gaspar, who his Catherine loves as his life, the broadsword fast he plies, till ere far smitten makes him fain believe such stroke of mighty blade a hill could cleave. 6. Bem cuida de cortá-lo em 2 pedaços, porém Gaspar, vendo o montante erguido, serra com ele e leva-o nos braços, cometimento destro e atrevido. Braceia o castelhano e de ameaços se serve ainda, e estando já vencido, o português forçoso em breve mora lhe leva a arma das mãos e salta fora. Fondly he hopes the foe to hew in twain, But Jasper, sighting overhead the blade, runs in, and catcheth him with gripping strain. 'Twas a fair feat of skill and hardihead. The Spaniard clippeth, yet doth not restrain his boastful threatening, although conquered. The forceful Portingal, with short delay, unarms his hands and leaps from out his way. 7. E porque ele não lhe use a própria manha, que este lhe usara já, de ponta o fere, nos peitos o montante, enfim, lhe banha, porque de outra vingança desespere. Fugiu-lhe a alma indigna, e na montanha Tartária ainda blasfema. Ali refere, de mais não açoutar a inimiga ingrata, que os açoutes de Alecto o pena e mata. Then, lest his foeman use such crafty mode himself had used, he deals Stoccado thrust, and find the broadsword in his bosom blood he bathes, that not to vengeance mote he trust. Flieth the furious ghost, and in the wood Tartarian still blasphemes, relates his lust for vengeance, who no more can scourge his queen, while him Alecto scourgeth long and keen. 8. E do metal de espadas aos danados, diz males e blasfêmias sem medidos, que já por não lhe entrar perde os cruzados, e agora por entrar lhe perde a vida. Por pena quer Plutão de seus pecados, que se lhe mostre a amiga já fugida, em brincos de ouro e beijos enlevada. Remete ele pera eles, e acha nada. The spathes metal to the damned host, ill names he calleth, heaping curses dread, which when it entered not, his ducats lost, and lost his life when it had entered. Pluto to gar him pay since scot and cost, shows him the traitorous lady friend who fled. Joyed by his rival, raining greedy kisses, he starts to strike them, but the shades he misses. Canto IV, after stanza 44. Ó pensamento vão do peito humano, agora neste cego error caíste? Agora este fermoso e ledo engano da sanguinosa e fera guerra viste? Agora que com sangue e próprio dano a dura experiência acerba e triste tu tem mostrado, e agora que o provaste, os conselhos darás que não tomaste. O vain reflections guiling human sense, how could this darkling error steal your sight? How have ye hugged this gay and glad pretense that lures to sanguine hate and baneful fight? And now, of bloodshed dire experience, a sore dread trial of the deadly blight is shown to thee, and now, when known thy lot, thou shalt give counsel which thou tookest not. 2. Dos corpos dos imigos cavaleiros, do mato os animais se apacentaram. As fontes de mais perto dos primeiros dias sangue com água destilaram. Os pastores do campo e os monteiros da vizinha montanha não gostaram, as aves de rapina em mais de um ano, por terem o sabor do corpo humano. The corpses of the cavaliers are foam, fed the foul creatures of the field and wood. The nearest fountains, till some days were gone, distilled their crystal black with human blood. The meadow shepherds and the swains who won upon the mountain loathed the fulsome food, the feral bird, which for a year and more smacked of the gorged flesh and human gore. Canto IV, stanza 49, Varia Lectio. Ponderando tamanho atrevimento, disse a Netuno então Proteu profeta: temo que desta gente venha, que de teus reinos o grão-cetro tenha. Pondering such mighty deeds of daring do, prophetic Proteus thus to Neptune cried: I fear shall spring such braves from braves like these, who the great sceptre of thy reigns shall seize. 2. Já toma forte porta inexpugnável, que o conde desleal primeiro abriu, por se vingar do amor inevitável que a fortuna em Rodrigo permitiu. Mas não foi esta a causa detestável que a populosa Espanha destruiu. Juízo de Deus foi por causa incerta, acaso mostra per Rodrigo aberta. He gaineth now the port inexpugnable, whereof the traitor count first oped the gate, in blood to wash the love inevitable, fired in Rodrigo's heart by hand of fate. Yet this was not the cause abominable that wasted populous Hispanian state. God, for some hidden judgment, gave command the house be opened by Rodrigo's hand. 3. Já agora, ó nobre Espanha, estás segura, se segurar te podem cavaleiros, de outra perda como esta, iníqua e dura, pois que tens portugueses por porteiros. Assim se deu a próspera ventura do rei Joane à terra, que aos fronteiros espanhóis tanto tempo molestara, e vencida ficou, mais nobre e clara. But now thou livest safe, O noble Spain, if knightly force can save its land of all. From other loss like this, from shame and stain, who for a porter has the Portingal. This happy fortune waited on the reign of King Joan, who the bounding wall of Spanish land molested many years, and conquered a higher crest uprears. Canto IV, stanza 61, Varia Lectio. Da próspera cidade de Veneza, Veneza, a qual os povos que escaparam do gótico furor e da crueza de Átila edificaram pobremente, e foi rica depois e preeminente. Of Venice, splendid in prosperity, Venice, whereto the fisher peoples fled from Gothic fury and the cruelty of Attila, and built the pauper town, now raised to rich estate and high renown. Canto IV, after stanza 66. Não foi sem justa e grande causa eleito para o sublime trono e governança, este, de cujo ilustre e forte peito depende uma grandíssima esperança. Pois não havendo herdeiro mais direito no reino, e mais por esta confiança, Joane o escolheu, que só o herdasse, não tendo filho herdeiro, que reinasse. Nor chosen was some justest cause and care to fill the lofty throne of governance, this king, whose noble heart and spirit rare pledged and promised highest aspirance. For him, there being no director heir, and urged mostly by such confidence, Joane chose as heir to reign alone, having no son inheritor to the throne. Canto IV, after stanza 86. Ali lhe prometemos, se em sossego, nos leva às partes onde Febo nasce, de ou espalhar sua fé no mundo cego, ou o sangue do povo pertinace. Fizemos para as almas santo emprego de fiel confissão, pura e verace, em que, posto que hereges a reprovam, as almas, como a fênix, se renovam. There did we promise, if his mercy deign, to bear us safe where Phoebus bursts the womb, or to blind worlds we would his faith ordain, or headstrong heatheness to death would doom. All for our souls' eternal health were fain, with pure, precious shrift our sprites to loom, whereby, though heretics made spar decry, souls, like the renovate phoenix, heavenward fly. 2. Tomamos o divino mantimento, com cuja graça santa tantos dias, sem outro algum terrestre provimento, se sustentaram já Moisés e Elias. Pão, de quem nenhum grande pensamento, nem sutis e profundas fantasias alcançam segredo e virtude alta, se do juízo a fé não supre a falta. Then to partake of ghostly meat we went, by whose most gracious boon so many days, some taste of other earthly nutriment, erst were sustained, Elias and Moisés. Bread, whose deep secrets ne thought eminent, ne subtle lore, ne soaring fantasies, shall ever fathom, ever plumb its smite, unto dark reason faith deny her light. Canto VI, after stanza 7. Lá na sublime Itália um celebrado antro secreto está, chamado Averno, por onde o capitão troiano ousado as negras sombras foi do escuro inferno. Por ali há também um desusado caminho que vai ter ao centro interno do mar, aonde o deus Netuno mora. Por ali foi descendo Baco agora. There in sublime Italia yawns a cave, secret and celebrate, Avernus hide, where through the Trojan leader, bold and brave, gained Infernus' realm of gloomy night. And all's this enter easy at it gave, by road untrod to ocean's middle side, the sea-god Neptune's proper tenement, now thither Bacchus 'gan the long descent. Canto VI, after stanza 24. A dor do desamor nunca respeita, se tem culpa ou se não tem culpa à parte, porque se a cousa amada vos enjeita, vingança busca só, de qualquer arte. Porém, quem outrem ama, que aproveita trabalhar que vos ame, e que se aparte de seu desejo, e que por outro negue, se sempre foge amor de quem o segue. Dolour of fell this love hath no respect, for fault or for unfault on either part. If what thou lovest leave thy love reject, only some sore revenge shall solve the smart. But say, what profit shall thy love expect, when she thou lovest hath bestowed her heart? How shall for others love himself deny, when love delights his followers' aid fly? Canto X, after stanza 40. De que serve contar grandes histórias de capitães de guerras afamadas, onde a morte tem ásperas vitórias de vontades alheias subjugadas? Outros farão grandíssimas memórias de feitos de batalhas conquistadas. Eu as farei, se for no mundo ouvido, de como só de uns olhos fui vencido. What boots recounting feats and jests notorious of celebrate capitains and grand campaigns, where vaunting death boasts asper's might victorious, or alien will he bendeth as he feigneth? Let others sing and say the deeds memorious achieved by conquerors on their battle plains. Let it be mine, if worlds will hear, to tell how by a pair of eyes mere force I fell. 2. Não foi pouco aprazível a Veloso tratar-se esta matéria vigiando, que conquanto era duro e belicoso, amor o tinha feito manso e brando. Tão concertado vive este enganoso moço com a natureza, que tratando os corações tão doce e brandamente, não deixa de ser forte quem o sente. No little pleasure to Veloso gave so fair a subject watch and war to guile, for as dure warfare made him dour and brave, so gentled love his breast by softening while. Such is the cunning of this cupid knave, so art with nature can he reconcile, while mortal hearts with blandness it endoweth, lovers with double power his will empowereth. 3. Contai, disse, Senhor, contai de amores as maravilhas sempre acontecidas, que ainda de seus fios cortadores no peito trago abertas as feridas. Concederam os mais vigiadores que ali fossem de todos referidas as histórias que já do amor passaram, e assim sua vigia começaram. Recount, quoth he, recount of love, fair sir, and of the wondrous chances love befell. Still his sharp arrows this sad bosom stir, that may not hurt of open wound dispel. With him agreed each watchful mariner, that all and every then and there should tell their tales of love, and how the ventures fared. This wise its watch to keep the crew prepared. 4. Disse então Leonardo, não espere ninguém que conte fábulas antigas, que quem alheias lágrimas refere, das próprias vive isento e sem fadigas. Porque depois que amor com os olhos fere, nunca por tão suaves inimigas, como a mim só no mundo tem ferido, Píramo, nem o nadador de Abido. Then quoth Leonardo, here let no man wot, from me to gather fables known of yore. Whoso would quote the tears of alien lot, himself exempted hath no tears in store. Sith love with magic eyelets mortal smote, those dearest enemies mine smote none so sore mid men as me, nor Pyramus, nor him who from Abida's helly stream did swim. 5. Fortuna, que no mundo pode tanto, me deitou longe já da pátria minha, onde tão longo tempo vivi, quanto bastou para perder um bem que tinha. Livre vivia então, mas não me espanto, senão que sendo livre não sustinha deixar de ser cativo, que o cuidado, sem porquê tive sempre namorado. Fortune, who vaunteth o'er the world her might, already drave me far from fatherland, where I long time had lived, sufficient quite to lose a blessing which I held in hand. Yes, free I lived, yet naught astounds my sprite, save that my freedom I could not command, but changed for prison, since mine every thought, would I or nould I, boon of love besought. Canto 6, after stanza 81. divina guarda, angélica, celeste, que o astrífero polo senhoreias, tu que a todo Israel refúgio deste, per metade das águas eritréias, se por mores perigosos me trouxeste, que ao itacense Ulisses ou Enéas, passando os largos términos de Apolo, pelas fúrias de Tétis e de Éulo. Thou, God divine, who dost with angels dwell, and of the starry pole hast seigniory, thou who didst bring thy people Israel through the burst waters of the blushing sea, if from more risks than Watinius fell, or Ithacan Ulysses, savedst thou me, passing Apollo's largely bounded path, through rage of Aeolus and Tethys' wrath. Canto VI, after stanza 94. Olhai como despois de grande medo, tão desejado bem logo se alcança, assim também de trás de estado ledo, tristeza está, certíssima mudança. Quem quisesse alcançar este segredo, de não se ver nas cousas segurança, creio, se esquadrinhá-lo bem quisesse, que em vez de saber mais, endoudecesse. Look ye, how following fast on fierce despair, we win the weal that seemed beyond our range. Thus ever dogging happy days and care, comes hateful sorrow with her certain change. Whoso would win such lore, such secret bear, how chance shall aid security estrange, I wot, his wisdom would no blessing gain, but breed a madness in his brooding brain. 2. Não respondo a quem disse que a fortuna era em todas as cousas inconstante, que mandou Deus ao mundo por coluna, deosa que ora se abaixa, ora levante. Opinião das gentes importuna é ter que o homem aos anjos semelhante, por quem já Deus fez tanto, se pusesse, nas mãos do leve caso que o regesse. I have short answer for the wise who say that fickle fortune deals in living lies, that God hath made for pillar of his sway a goddess ranging aid twixt fall and rise. Importunate opinion men obey, that man whose nature with the angels vies, for whom his God such goodness wrought is ruled by blindfold chances and by luck befooled. 3. Mas quem diz que virtudes ou pecados sobem baixos e abaixam os subidos, que me dirá se os maus vir sublimados? Que me dirá se os bons vir abatidos? Se alguém me diz que nascem destinados, parece razão áspera aos ouvidos. Que se eu nasci obrigado a meu destino, que mais me val ser santo que maligno? Who saith that good or ill be reason why the lowly up, the lofty downward go? What shall he say, seeing the low rise high? What shall he say, seeing the high fall low? If some should say, we're born predestined, I find it an asperous reason so to trow. If darkly bound by bond of destiny, what boots a sinner or a saint I be? 4. Viram-se os portugueses em tormenta, que nenhum se lembrava já da vida. Subitamente passa e lhe apresenta Vênus, a cousa deles mais querida. Mas o Cabral, que o número acrescenta dos naufrágios na costa desabrida, a vida salva alegre e logo perto a perde, ou por destino ou por acerto. Such dreadful storm the Portingals tormented, all were assured life was surely lost. Sudden it passed, and to them presented Venus the guerdon which they yearned for most. Meanwhile Cabral, whose wreck and rock distented the list of losses on that portless coast, saves his life gladly, and at once he losest, because what men call chance or destiny choosest. 5. Se havia de perdê-la em breve instante, o salvá-la primeiro que lhe val, fortuna ali, se é hábil e prestante, por que não dava um bem de trás de um mal? Bem dizia o filósofo elegante, Simônides, ficando em um portal, salvo, donde os amigos morrer vira, na sala arruinada que caíra. On he must lose his life in one short hour, to save the span before, what could avail? We ask why fortune's all-prevailing power upon the heels of ill sent not of well. Well said the sage, so famed for elegant lore, Simonides, who from his safe port hail beheld his travelling friends within the hall, crushed by the fragments of the fallen wall. 6. Ó poder da fortuna tão pesado, que tantos num momento assim mataste, para que maior mal me tens guardado, se deste que é tamanho me guardaste? Bem sabia que o céu está virado, não há dano que o seu furor abaste, nem fez um mal tamanho que não tenha outro muito maior que logo venha. O force of fortune grievers, sore to dree, that hast so many in one moment slain, say, for what greater bane hast saved me, whom thou hast saved from this present bane? Certes the wrath of heaven right well I see, no harm sufficeth for his rage insane, nor ill he worked but the will he had, eftsoons of working something worse than bad. 7. Mui bem sei que não falta quem me desse razões sutis que o engenho lhe assegura, nem quem segundas causas resolvesse matérias altas que o juízo apura. Eu lhe fico que a todos respondesse, mas não o sofre a força da escritura. Respondo só que a longa experiência enleia muitas vezes a ciência. Right well I wot that many shall be found with subtle reasons faith to reassure. Many by second causes shall expound high matters, sound, sure judgment doth the pure. To all I pledge myself I could respond, that art of scribe such mighty theme endure. I but respond that long experience oft shows your science lacking common sense. End of manuscript number 1. Manuscript number 2. Canto 8, after stanza 32. Este deu grão princípio à sublimada, ilustríssima casa de Bragança, em estado e grandeza avantajada, a quantas o espanhol império alcança. Vês aquele que vai com forte armada, cortando espere o mar e logo alcança o valeroso intento que pretende, e a vila de Azamor combate e rende? This the foundation stone sublimely laid of the Braganza house, illustrious strain, which in estate and grandeur all outweighed whatever vaunts the high Hispanian reign. Seest thou him who with the stout Armade cutteth the Hesperian sea forthwith to gain his brave objective, whence this stout pretender Azamor town to fight and gar surrender? 2. É o duque Dom Gemes, derivado do tronco antigo e sucessor famoso, que o grande feito empreende e acabado a Portugal dá volta vitorioso, deixando desta vez tão admirado a todo o mundo e o mouro tão medroso, que inda até agora nunca há despedido o grão temor entonces concebido. 'Tis ducal Gemes, erting from his sires of old nobility a name memorious, who does this mighty deed, and's high desires fulfilled, to Portugal returns victorious. This time of valor which the world admires leaveth the Moorman in such fear inglorious, who to the present is nowise relieved of the cold burthen in the past conceived. 3. E se o famoso duque mais avante não passa com a católica conquista nos muros de Marrocos e Trudante e outros lugares mil à escala vista, não é por falta de ânimo constante, nem de esforço e vontade pronta e lisa, mas foi por não passar o limitado término per seu rei assinalado. And if the famous Duke forbore as wont Catholic conquests farther still to bear, unto Morocco's Moors and Terudand, and other thousand thorps the haven near, deem not his constant soul of spirit scant, or wanting energy were slow to dare. 'Twas that his loyalty to cross declined the certain limits which his king assigned. Canto 8, after stanza 36. Achou-se nesta desigual batalha dos nossos de migos rodeado, mas ele de valor mais que de malha, em militar esforço acompanhado, do primeiro o cavalo mata e talha o colo a seu senhor com desusado golpe de espada, e passo a passo andando, estorvados contrários vai deixando. In such unfairest odds and chance of fray, one of our soldiers was begirt by foes, but he, by valor more than male, makes way, and of true warrior heart fair assurance shows. Slaying the near charger with his sabre sway, its rider's head upon the plain he throws, brave swarther feet, and pace by pace he leaveth airier the foeman whom such exploit grieveth. Canto X, after stanza 72. Verá-se enfim toda a Índia conjurada, com bélico aparelho, várias gentes, Chaul, Gol e Malaca ter cercada, em um tempo lugares diferentes. Mas vê como Chaul quase tomada, o mar com suas ondas eminentes, vai socorrer a gente portuguesa, que só de Deus espera já defesa. Shalt see, in fine, conspire all India, dressed to bellic apparatus, people's rush, Chaul, Malacca, Goa town t' invest, at once such different sights to seize and crush. But see, now Chaul city sorely pressed, the seas with eminent billows flies to brush, Castro, in haste his portingals to save, when only God in mercy's aid they crave. 2. Vês qual o rei gentio, pressuroso, arde, cerca, discorre e anda listo, incitando o exército espantoso a destruir um esquadrão de Cristo. Mas nota o ponto de honra generoso, em cerco nem batalha nunca visto, os soldados, fugindo do seguro, passar-se ao posto perigoso e duro. Seest thou yon Paynim king so fain a fight, burn, overrun, beleaguer, firm persist, in throwing forces which the land affright, against a little squad that loveth Christ? But bear that generous Pandanor in sight, the siege the battle ere before hath wist. See how the soldiery, flying posts secure, pass to the post of peril dire endure. 3. Ali o prudentíssimo Ataíde, confortado da ajuda soberana, onde a necessidade e tempo o pide, socorrerá com força mais que humana, até que com seus danos se despide do cru intento a gente vil, profana, que em batalhas e encontros mil vencidos virão a pedir paz arrependidos. There shall Ataíde, most for prudence known, strong in the ghostly comfort of the Lord, where time and need demand such force be shown, with more than human valor aid afford, until its salvage object shall disown with grievous losses yon vile pagan horde, who crushed in thousand cruel fights shall rue the war and hurry for a truce to sue. 4. Enquanto isto passar cá na lumiosa costa de Ásia e América sombria, não menos lá na Europa belicosa e nas terras da inculta barbaria, mostrará a gentilícia valerosa seu preço de temor tornando fria a zona ardente, em ver que uma conquista lhe não paisque das outras três desista. While here so hapeth on the coast that glows of Asia and America sombre cold, there not the less in Europe bellicose, and Barbary wild uncultivated world, shall show thy race Elysian, valorous, its worth, and with a freezing fear enfold the seething zone that sees one conquest won pass to 3 other and ne'er pause till done. 5. Verão o valentíssimo Barriga, a Daíldes afim, grande afamado, sem ter por armas quem lhe contradiga, correr de Mauritânia serra e prado, mas vê como a infiel gente inimiga o prende por um caso desastrado, e com ele outra gente leva presa, que em tal caso não pode ter defesa. Barriga, brave of braves, they here shall cite, guide of Zafim, in war of prime account, who finds no man-at-arms to foil his might, or run the Mauritanian plain and mount. But see how th' infidels, by luck of fight, and doom disastrous, in the very brunt, make him and his Bellona's battle prize, for in such chances valor hopeless lies. 6. Mas passado este trance perigoso, olha onde preso vai, como arrebata a lança de um dos mouros, e furioso, com ela seu senhor derriba e mata, e revolvendo o braço poderoso, os seus livra e os inimigos desbarata, e assim todos, alegres e triunfantes, se tornam donde foram presos antes. But past the perils of this imminent chance, see how he snatcheth while to durance led, from grasp of Moorish foe the beamy lance, and lays with single lunge its lancer dead. Then with strong arm, the weapon swung askance, he saves his friends the while his foes have fled. Thus all triumphant, wend his men their way, whither their lot was sad captivity. 7. Ei-lo cá por engano, outra vez preso, está na escura e vil estrebaria, carregado de ferros, de tal peso, que de um lugar mover-se não podia. Vê-lo, de generoso fogo aceso, que o pão ensanguentado sacudia, com que ao soberbo mouro a morte dera, que em sua honrada barba a mão pusera? Lo, here is he by snare once more beset, and in the darkness of vile stable lane, loaded with iron fetters of such weight, from off the floor he mote not rise again. But see the heart, with generous fire irate, tear up the stake that showed a bloody stain, and brain the haughty Moor who had not feared foul hand to fasten on his honored beard. 8. Mas vê como os infidos agarenos, permandado lidão do rei descrido, tanto açoute por isto, que em pequenos lhe fazem sobre as costas o vestido, sem que ao forte varão vozes, nem menos, ouvissem dar um íntimo gemido. Já vai a Portugal despedaçado, o vestido a pedir ser resgatado. Yet further see yon faithless Hagarine, by the commandment of his infidel king, visit the daring deed with scourge so keen, that strips from ribs his robes with stripes that sting. Yet the brave baron scorns one word, nor e'en an ah, a murmur may his tortures wring. To Portugal the ragged vesture goes, wherewith to raise a ransom for the foes. 9. Olha cabo de Aguera aqui tomado, per culpa dos soldados de socorro. Vês o grande carvalho ali cercado de inimigos, como touro em duro corro? De 30 mouros mortos rodeado, revolvendo o montante diz: pois morro, celebrem mortos minha morte escura, e façam-me de mortos sepultura. Behold yon Agar headland ta'en, and lost by fault of tardy succouring soldiery. And seest thou great Carvalho, mid the host, hostile, like baited bull the ring or fly? Hear him, mid 30 Moorish corpses boast, whirling his broadsword, crying, since I die, let dead atone for this mine obscure doom, these carrion deadlings for my fittest tomb. 10. Ambas pernas quebradas, que passando um tiro, espedaçado lhes havia, dos de olhos e braços se ajudando, com nunca visto esforço e valentia, em torno pelo campo retirando, vai a Garena, dura companhia, que com dardos e setas que tiravam, de longe dar-lhe a morte procuravam. See how when both his legs a passing ball in pieces dashed and shanks from trunk had mown, on arms and knees he doth his best to crawl, and fight with force and valor never known. Rounded about the field evanish all, Hagar's hard children, who no pity own, and with their shafts and javelins far they deal the death they dare not by a nearer steal. Canto X, after stanza 73. Com tais obras e feitos excelentes, de valor nunca visto nem cuidado, alcançareis aquelas preeminentes excelências que o céu tem reservado para vós outros, entre quantas gentes o sol aquenta e cerca o humor salgado, que em pouco se acham poucas repartidas e em nenhuma nação juntas e unidas. With similar labours, jests so great, so new, of valor never viewed nor reached by thought, to honour shall ye rise, so high, so true, to excellences heaven's will hath wrought mid worlds of men for you and only you. While Phoebus warms what salty billows moat, rare boons be these which rarely doled we find to men, and only in you, men, conjoined. 2. Religião, a primeira, sublimada, de pio e santo zelo revestida, ao culto divinal somente dada, em seu serviço e obras embebida, nesta, a gente no elísio campo nada, se mostrou sempre tal em morte e vida, que pode pretender a primazia da ilustre e religiosa monarquia. Religion first, the truth sublime revealed, in earthly garb of pious holy zeal, fain to divine obedience self to yield, and all imbibed with its works of weal. Thus man fares swimming to the Elysian field, and thus in life and death shall ever deal mortals who strain to win the princely prize which high religious monarchy affies. 3. Lealdada é segunda que engrandece sobre todas o nobre peito humano, com a qual semelhante ser parece ao coro celestial e soberano. Nesta per todo o mundo se conhece por tão ilustre o povo lusitano, que jamais a seu Deus e Rei jurado a fé devida e pública há negado. Loyalty second, that makes great and grand above all others hearts of noble strain, whereby a certain likeness mortals fend to choirs immortal in the heavenly reign. For this be known o'er farthest sea and land the passing merits of the Lusitan, ne'er to his maker nor sworn king forsworn, nor hold such public faith to public scorn. 4. Fortaleza vem logo, que os autores tanto do antigo luso magnificam, que os vossos portugueses com maiores obras ser verdadeira certificam, dando matéria a novos escritores, com feitos que em memória eterna ficam, e vencendo do mundo os mais subidos, sem nunca de mais poucos ser vencidos. Valor next cometh, which of yore did greet in olden Lusus men who sang and wrote, and which your Portingals with greater feat certify veridic without doubt, affording novel theme to modern writ with their high exploits of memorious note, and vanquishing o'er the world the most renowned, by fewer vanquished they shall ne'er be found. 5. Conquista será a quarta, que no império português só reside com possança, pois no sublime e no ínfimo hemisfério as 4 partes só do mundo alcança, e as 4 nações delas por mistério, com que conquista e tem certa esperança, que cristãos, mouros, turcos e gentios juntarão numa lei seus senhorios. Conquest shall prove the fourth, which in the power of only Portugal full force resideth, since in the higher hemisphere and lower o'er earth's 4 quarters she alone abideth. The 4 great nations only serve to show her what high mysterious hope her conquests guideth, that Christian, Moorman, Turk, and Gentile all, joined in single law, shall feel her thrall. 6. Descobrimento é quinta que, bem certo, a gente lusitana só se deve, pois tendo norte a sul já descoberto, adonde o dia é grande e adonde breve, e por caminho desusado, incerto, de ponente a levante inda se atreve cercar o mundo em torno per direito, feito despois, nem antes, nunca feito. Discovery comes the fifth, which of a truth to none save Lusus' children doth belong, who have explored all from north to south, where suns be short-lived and where days be long. Now by uncertain ways, unused, uncowed, from ponent levantward in daring strong, she wends to circle earth by shortest tract, a feat which never was till now a fact. 7. Deixo de referir a piedade do peito português e cortesia, temperança, fé, zelo e caridade, com outras muitas que contar podia, pois a segundo ponto da verdade e regras da moral filosofia, não pode conservar-se uma virtude sem que das outras todas se arme e ajude. I pass in silence o'er the piety and courteous ways that mark the Lusian breast, temperance, holy faith, zeal, charity, with other gifts as easy to attest, for 'tis a notable point of verity, moral philosophy's own rule and hest, no single virtue e'er hath man arrayed, when all the others do not arm and aid. 8. Mas destas, como base e fundamento, daquelas 5 insignes excelências, em que elas têm seu natural assento, e de quem tomam suas dependências, não quero aqui tratar, que meu intento não é descer a todas minudências, que gerais são no mundo a muita gente, senão das que em vós se acham tão somente. But these, the first foundation and the base of those renowned 5 transcendencies, whereon they rest and rise by nature's grace, and whence they borrow fair dependencies, here I neglect, for stoop I not to trace that meaner matter which the tendance is of human nature in the general view. Only I tell what dwells in only you. 9. Mas não será de todo limpo e puro o curso desigual de vossa história. Tal é a condição do estado escuro da humana vida, frágil, transitória. Que mortes, perdições, trabalho duro aguarão grandemente vossa glória, mas não poderá algum sucesso ou fado derribar-vos deste alto e honroso estado. Nathless expect not to run clear and pure the course uneven of your race's story. Such the condition of our state obscure, of human lifetide, fragile, transitory. Death and destruction, travail sore endure, shall mingle water in your wine of glory. Yet ne'er shall force of fortune, nor of fate, the greater gifts, debase your high estate. 10. Tempo virá que entrambos hemisférios, descobertos per vós e conquistados, e com batalhas, mortes, cativeiros, os vários povos deles sujeitados, de Espanha os dous grandíssimos impérios serão num senhorio só juntados, ficando por metrópole e senhora a cidade que cá vos manda agora. Shall dawn the day o'er either hemisphere, by you explored and conquered in fight, where battle, slaughter, prison-doom strike fear, and all the people subject to your might. The twain of mightiest empires which is spear in Spain, beneath one sceptre shall unite, owning for capital, lady of the land, the goodly city hither sends your band. 11. Ora, pois, gente ilustre, que no mundo Deus no grêmio católico conserva, redemidos da pena do profundo, que para os condenados se reserva, por vos dotar o que perdeu o imundo Luzbel com sua infame e vil caterva, pois sabeis alcançar a glória humana, fazei por não perder a soberana. And now, o'er earth established, race renowned, whom God in Catholic bosom hath conserved, redeemed from horrid pains of hell profound, for hosts of damned heavenly reserved, dowered with the losses of Luzbel immonde, Luzbel, by vile and vulgar spirits served, since all earth's glories ye have learned to gain, where lest ye lose the glory sovereign. Canto X, after stanza 141. Daqui saindo irá, donde acabada, sua vida será na fatal ilha, mas prosseguindo a venturosa armada, à volta de tão grande maravilha, verão a nau Vitória celebrada ir tomar porto junto de Sevilha, depois de haver cercado o mar profundo, dando uma volta em claro a todo o mundo. Hence shall he wend his way, and end the light of life when landed on that fatal isle, nor less his venturous fleet shall wing her flight, returning homeward from such miracle. The far-famed ship, Victoria, men shall sight, anchored in safest waters by Seville, when she had girdled ocean plain profound, and circled earth in one continuous round. End of the rejected stanzas. End of the Lusíads, by Luís Vaz de Camões, translated by Sir Richard Francis Burton.